talk about my drop spindle that I've fallen in love with. This is the Golding aromatherapy drop spindle, and you can see I've got the little cage here with my cotton ball, and I put my drops of aromatherapy and the hook. Now the thing about the Golding spindles is that they have a brass outer ring, and that throws all of the weight to the outside of the spindle and makes it spin so long. That's what's so special about the Golding spindles. Now, this one happens to be a top whirl, which means when I'm actually spinning, the whirl is at the top of the spindle. Okay? Now, I told you I finally got the knack of this at my niece's horse show. Just not really paying attention, just working on it. That's why I've become such a fanatic. I finally got the knack of it. So much so that I made this very, very interesting, it's not really a distaff, but you could call it like a wrist roving holder. And it came from a book by Interweave Press. I will have to figure out the name for you. Anyway, what it is basically is quite simply just almost like the cuff of a sweater, knit in a knit 2 purl 2 ribbing. Then you bind it off. You make it about 1 inch high. You bind it off, and you pick up stitches along one of the knit rows. Knit a nice little seed stitch flap, and when you think it's long enough that you can stuff some roving into it, then bind it off, and then just stitch it down on the other side of the flap, and also stitch one end. So essentially what you've done is you've made this lovely little wrist band, okay, that your hand goes through, and then the roving is right in here ready for you whenever you are ready to spin. Now, what I did is much like you would load, I guess, a parachute. I've never loaded a parachute, but don't make a circle of the roving and then stuff it in the pocket, because then it's going to get tangled in there. What I did is I took the very end of my roving and I started it in there, and then I just kept shoving. You know, I had pulled my roving thin like this to begin with. Then I just kept shoving it in there and in there and in there until I ended up, basically, I think it looks like a little turtleback. And I used Swish worsted that I had left over from a baby blanket. So I can machine wash this later when I don't think it's going to get that dirty, but if I want to make more of these. The whole thing took me about 1 hour to knit. Well worth the effort. It's so nice to have some place to keep my roving. Now, hold on a second. Now we're ready to actually talk about spinning. When I realized I wanted to focus on the drop spindle, I remember I read from someone that they like to work with the roving coming from their left hand, even though they're right-handed, because if you want to just kind of maybe spindle while you're talking to someone or spindle while you're at work or something, then you have your right hand, your dominant hand, to maybe stir soup or type something or answer the phone, and you can hold your spindle in your left hand. So I've figured I'm going to be just as uncomfortable with my hand motions, whether it's my right or my left hand. So might as well do it. Anyway, what I've done is I've, of course, caught my fleece here, my string, and with the Golding, you just give it a nice little turn. See how wonderful it spins? And then I'm having my fleece come right from above my hand. Now, one of the things I learned when I was spinning with the spinning wheel is to sort of unspin right where that draft point is. Give it a little counterclockwise twist with my fingers. That way, it opens up the space in the fibers right at the apex of that triangle. So anyway, what I'm doing is I give it a clockwise turn. I kind of use this fingers to untwist the fingers of my right hand, untwist the fiber a little bit, and then let the twist travel on up. So I untwist, draft, travel, untwist, draft, travel, and when I get enough going here, I load it onto. So I spin it, I untwist, draft, let it travel up, untwist, draft, let it travel up, untwist, draft, let it travel up. I've lost my spinning down here. Stop spinning. So give it another quick little twist clockwise, untwist, draft, travel, untwist, draft, travel. And as long as you just keep doing that, untwist, draft, travel, untwist, draft, travel, and eventually you want to stop this, spin it back on to your spindle, give it a nice little clockwise twirl, untwist it a little bit, draft, travel, untwist it a little bit, draft, travel, give it a little spin, untwist, draft, travel, untwist, draft, travel. There you go. And all you do is just keep doing that. I mean, I cannot believe how happy I am with how well this is working. And of course the golding just spins and spins and it's so well balanced. Untwist, draft, travel. And all you're focusing on is this area right in here. Okay? That's where your energy from your spinning is. So, set it spinning again. Untwist, draft, travel, untwist, draft, travel, and that travels right up there. That's where that energy is going. Untwist, draft, travel, untwist, draft, travel. And then up we go again.